Greetings in the name of Yasantiwa and Naomi. All that is good and great, all that is blessed and beautiful, all that is creative and conscious, all that is positive and possible. May the warm sun rays greet you each and every morning, and may your day be always full of joy. Hotep, I am Adisa Olabai Bankole, and welcome to my new series, Off My Chest. A series dedicated in dealing with things about certain events and or things that annoy, irritate, and aggravate me from a cultural and historical point of view, or humanity point of view. Now, before we begin, let me make this disclaimer up front. There is no copyright infringement on any of the materials that I'm using. There is no solicitation of any kind. There is no profit being made. This is for conversation purposes only. Now, I'm only going to do two of these, one in July, one in August, and two in July and two in August. So it's going to be like maybe four, and it's going to be like two topics each of those months or each of those episodes, right? Right. This is just I'm taking a reprieve from the '70s groove thing, but that will come back in September, right? But I want to really kind of this is like a fun type of thing, and it's like hey, getting this stuff off my chest, so to speak. So, all right. But before we begin, I want to start each segment with something creative and like maybe a piece of music. So I'm gonna hit pause and play a piece of music, and then we're gonna come back and we're going to talk about the topic. Why Can't We Be Friends by War? And I think it came out in like 1971, 73 or something like that. Anyways, I wanted to start this piece just to play a little piece of music so, it's not such a harsh thing. But the reason why I started with that is the first topic I want to deal with is comfort zone. White liberal anxiety, a commentary on Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility. And this was stemming from a conversation I had with a longtime liberal white friend. He thought to make his distraught over the Jussie Smollett, my distraught as well. Further, to have me agree with his assessment of the situation to advance his comfort zone. Now, this is something that Robin DiAngelo talks about, the white fragility, the kind of maturations that they go through in order to somehow or another protect their fragile whatever it is. Right? Now, I called this friend to congratulate him on something, and it was a special occasion. And he had this burning desire, this burning issue about the Jussie Smollett. He wanted to lay this out on me. Now, wasn't something he didn't like ask what did I think about it. He didn't come out and say, did you hear about the Jussie Smollett case? Want to know if what you thought about it. Maybe his thing was no. This case it was wrong. It was unjust. It was he got off. And he wanted to really express that to me. And it was like every time I was like, showing him something different, no, he would pull back and he would bring up something else, and he was outright that the sentence wasn't enough and the stuff. So after that was exhausted, he went on to this other thing about something that these other black folks had did, and it came clear to me that he needed his fragility to be, his stroke. He needed to have this comfort, because this was a long time running. And that's what happened in the O.J. Simpson case and the Zimmerman case. Now, imagine that you're a worker and you're sitting at the fountain and your co-worker is coming to you after the Zimmerman case. Now, we knew basically what the situation was going to be, but this, your white coworker really wants to engage with you and stuff, and then when we go, well, yeah, okay, yeah, it makes them even more fragile for some reason. They it's like, but then they got to explain to you, but and it frustrates them. They don't know where to go. But when the O.J. Simpson case came about, they just went buck wild, But O.J. had the money, got the lawyers that he needed, and they demonstrated to those jurors that, there was a reasonable doubt. And those whites just went crazy. They had to go through they went through maturations, and I think a lot of them went through psychological episodes and things. But they were distraught because we were like, hey, yeah, okay, we finally got, and it was like they could not understand that, And so this is what Robin DiAngelo talks about with the white fragility. And I saw this with my longtime white liberal friend, the need to be comforted, So let me dispel something to all of you white liberals who have, quote unquote, black friends, or who are just, who you are. Let me dispel something to you. We are not responsible for your comfort. We're not responsible for your happiness. It's just like you being with somebody and you are comforted by that somebody, you enjoy being around that person, but that person is not responsible for you. I love my wife. I enjoy being around her, but she is not responsible for my joy. I enjoy being with her, but she's not responsible for it. Just like I'm not responsible for her. So we are not responsible for your comfort. Get over it. This is you need to sit down there and do some self-discovery. You need to do some self-exploration. You need to read Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility and see all the maturations that you go through, because no. Stop it. Because what happens is it denies us, our humanity, it denies us to be human. To say, hey, no, wait a minute, this is no. You're distraught. It's not my distraught. Hey, don't pull that on me. As Tim Wise would say, and which is, I think, a beautiful saying, when he says to his white compatriots, guilt is for what you have done. Responsibility is who you are. Right? So stop dealing with this kind of fragility, because in order for us to achieve the kind of humanity that we wish to, right? We cannot achieve it as long as you are trying to portray this kind of fragile being that somehow or another needs to be comforted. So here's my suggestion. Read and or go to YouTube and look Tim Weiss, right? Read or go to YouTube and look at Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility. Read and go, there's a new book called Dying for Whiteness by this author named Metz, right? read and go and deal with him. There's this other book called Witnessing Whiteness. It's by a young white lady. Go and read that. And in the back, she has some workshops that you can do. And I found this out where these white people get together and they talk about the whole concept of whiteness. And by the way, there's this young white female who's a lawyer. She looked at the moment that the concept of whiteness was invented. It's not a race, it's not a culture, not anything. It's a political, economic ideology. And she traces that back through the legalization. You know, by the way, that whole whiteness concept and the whole race type thing does not come about until 1640, somewhere like that. And it was with the anti-miscegenation laws that created the legal situation where white women could not be with a black man. This is where it all began. So you need to read that, and have a discussion with yourselves and a discussion with other whites. And then come back and we can have a discussion of how to advance humanity and live in a society that is more humane. And that's my first topic for today. And my second topic is coming up. So I'm going to play this piece of music for you, and we're going to come back and talk about that. And then at the end, I want you to hit me up on my YouTube channel, hit the like button, hit the comment button, and leave me a comment. And on my Facebook, hit the like button and hit the commentary button and leave a commentary. But I'm going to play this piece of music for you, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it. Earth, Wind, and Fire, the most prominent group of the 1970s, positive, conscious-oriented group. And what does the Library of Congress do? Now, a young lady who worked for Steve Harvey came in, and she was so excited that the Congress of Library put the September in the archives. And Steve was like, what? And when I went on YouTube was blowing up with that. It was like, what is wrong with the Library of Congress? What's happening to them idiots over there? That you're going to take September and make September the identifying song for Earth, Wind, and Fire, when even in this album that I was playing, they have a plethora of music. I mean, these were consummate musicians. They were prominent singers. I mean, these were showmanship, craftsmanship. And yet, you're going to take a song, September, which was at the end of the disco era, and was not one of their best songs, with all of the other songs that they have, Head to the Sky, Mighty Mighty, right? Serpentine Fire, the one that I was just playing, Shining Star, with Gratitude, A Child is Born. And just a plethora of music, just powerful stuff. And yet, the Library of Congress chose to take September. Now, they took some rappers, I'm not going to say who, but they took a rapper and put all of his stuff, his whole album, and put that into the archives. And yet they took September of Earth, Wind, and Fire. What? Are you kidding me? There's idiots out there. And that irks me, because this was a powerful group. But Maurice White and his brother Vernon, they talked about the fact that the DJs back then did not play their music a lot, you know. And I think the only music that they really played, I think there was only two that they really was pushing, and that was September and I think Let's Groove or something like that, or Boogie Wonderland or something like that, you know, which they did with the Pointer Sisters, I believe. But I mean, I just cannot believe, and people, like I said on YouTube, was like, what in the heck? You know, what? So, you know, this is my little contribution to perhaps maybe pushing people to, hey, we got to do something about that. We got to do something about this. Because you can't, you know, you can't dismiss this beautiful group. You can't denote this, the power of this group. You can't, kind of take away their significance and their importance simply because I don't know what it is. But you can't do that, right? And this is something that we need to cry as a community, because just like down in Washington, they tried to gentrify this area and tried to shut down this music thing, the go-go thing, and they won. So this is the go-go people, they went out and had a big party, say, hey, victory. So this is something we need to do, because we cannot just make Earth and Wind and Fire a footnote. They have to be out there. And this is what we need to do. So these are the two things that, for this month, irritated me, annoyed me, and irked the heck out of me. And so I wanted to share this with you in my new series, Off My Chest. So again, hit me up on my YouTube channel and leave a comment. Hit the like button, hit the subscription button, and hit me up on my Facebook and leave a comment and a like, and also, you can share it as well. But until the next one, this is the Tisa Olabayo Bankole, and saying, always, always, may your day always be that's full of joy. And may you continue the self-journey, the self-discovery, to the idea of being human, being humane, having a society that loves, that has peace, that has joy, but most important of all, that is a society that is good. Right? And so until next time, this is Disa Olabayo Bankole saying, peace